when I give my all to someone and they disappoint me, it makes me feel horrible. And it takes my very soul out of me. It breaks my fucking heart. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain.
What's going on? This is Jeffrey here, and I am coming at you from Cancun, Mexico. And today, what I want to talk to you about is a man named Jahsey Onfroy, better known as rapper Xxxtentacion. Why do I want to talk about this guy? Well, let me tell you. This was a guy who I didn't really know too much about until he died. So I had a couple songs of his saved in my Spotify. I've had a couple songs where he was a featured rapper that I didn't really know too much about him until I stumbled across a Reddit thread that said Xxxtentacion might be dead. And I was on my way to the gym and I read that, and I kind of just sat there like the whole workout just like learning as much as I could about this guy. And he did end up dying in this robbery. I'm not going to go into the backstory of him. I'm not going to go into sort of like his dark past. I'm not going to go into even my opinion on him. But as I read more and more about this guy, I got really drawn in to who he was as a person, and he was a very flawed character. But there was something about him that just was sort of mesmerizing to me, and I thought it was very interesting. Lately I've been on a thing about like learning as much as I can about branding and building mass movements and building a following. I wanted to know what separated this man from every other rapper. You know, why does this guy who had done some fucking terrible things in the past, like horrible things, I wanted to know why this man resonated so strongly with his core fan base. I've been reading a lot about brand building. I've been reading a lot about building mass movements. Building cultures is something that I'm working on, just in terms of my own company. Like, how do I build a culture? And it doesn't involve beating women. Essentially, I read a book called Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, and pretty much I realized as I was reading this Xxxtentacion, he actually hits all of the marks on how to build a mass movement. So in order to build a mass movement, you essentially need three things. You need an attractive character, you need a cause, and you need a new opportunity. And Jahsey Onfroy was able to hit all three of these. Today we're just going to delve into the attractive character and how Jahsey Onfroy hits pretty much every little mark that's required of someone to be just like intriguing and charismatic, and why people sort of pay attention when he talks. And if you want to hear about the new opportunity and the cause, well, I'm afraid you're going to have to subscribe to see more. You're going to have to wait out for those ones. So make sure you do that. You can just click that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Pretty much what I like is marketing. Like, why do people care about Kanye outside the fact that his music's amazing? Why the fuck do people care so much about Donald Trump? Like, there's so many people outside of Donald Trump who were running for president. Why is it that this guy, who is completely unqualified, why was it that he got in? And it is that he understands brand building, he understands marketing. So this is something that Xxxtentacion also understood, and he was able to build a massive cult following just based off his understanding of human behavior, what people pay attention to, and just like especially polarity. He's a very polarizing figure, so I wanted to talk about pretty much that. So let's get into it. Let's stop fucking around. The elements that an attractive character has are parables, a backstory, character flaws, and polarity. And X had these in spades. So let's get into sort of what these entail. Obviously, the backstory would involve his childhood, where he was like, his mom was a teen parent, didn't fucking care about him really. He was passed back and forth just like through different institutions. He was raised by his grandma. He was raised by his babysitters. His mom was never really in the picture.
My mom's probably the only girl that could beat me up.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
What about Ronda Rousey?
Ronda Rousey? No, I'll throw hands with Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
And then he went in and out of different institutions because he was breaking the law. He was getting arrested. He was doing all this sort of stuff. So that's sort of an intriguing backstory. And then he did some very violent things. Very violent thing against a gay guy in his prison. He stabbed people. He was in jail for armed robbery and like possession of a weapon. And then of course there's the domestic abuse allegations, which are very extreme. But those actually kind of like helped him in a way. They helped his career, even though his violent past is like something that people, if you were to take Harvey Weinstein, for example, his career was destroyed by this. Whereas Xx's, his sort of violent past was sort of like in conjunction with his rise to the top. To build a following, you need to be a leader who has kind of already completed the journey that your followers are on. And for X, this wasn't necessarily that all of his fans wanted to be SoundCloud rappers, but he rapped a lot about his anger, his depression, his how he felt alone, and people who who really understood what he was saying, they kind of felt heard for the first time. So he talked to a subset of kids who just didn't feel too much in terms of like they kind of felt alone. They kind of felt it. They just felt like this anger inside them. I talked to a bunch of people on the Xxxtentacion subreddit, and I asked like, what was it about this guy that made you sort of feel alive? Like, why are you drawn to this guy? And a lot of people just said, like, honestly, like, his duality, he was very caring, and he was very talking about like esoteric shit, like energy fields and laws of the universe, law of attraction.
Okay, so my current focus is creation and evolution. No matter whether you realize it or not, every day you evolve. Every day you create. You create in thought, you evolve in mind, you evolve as far as your age, you evolve physically, mentally.
He talks about all that stuff, and then he's also incredibly violent, incredibly aggressive, incredibly self-assured as well. So that's one of the facets of the attractive characters. They are very, very self-assured. There's nothing in them that just says, hey, like maybe this could be the answer. Like, I think we should do this, but I'm not sure. It's like, if you want to be a leader, if you want to lead other people, you have to be very, very certain in what you say. If you look at Donald Trump, he doesn't sit there going, like, oh, I'm not sure. Like, he says the wrongest, dumbest shit you could possibly say, and he just says it with conviction. And same with our boy Jahsey. I forget this guy's name. Our boy X, also, like, everything he said, if you listen to his little rants on social media where he's like, hey, you can do anything you want to do if you just believe in the law of attraction, like he goes off on these rants, and you can hear it in his voice. He fully believes what he's saying.
Everything besides what you got planned does not matter. You gotta stay in your mind.
Keep going, dog. Hey, man, I appreciate it so much, dog. Nice meeting you.
Study your laws of the universe. Laws of the universe.
Having the self-assuredness also just breeds more and more charisma. The more charismatic you are, the more people are drawn into you. Another thing is you cannot be boring. And if you're boring, then you're fucking dead. Like, you can't just be like, yeah. And again, this comes with the self-assurance thing. Like, if you are boring, you are just, you're not captivating anyone. No one really gives a shit about you. So you gotta be out there. You gotta be like aggressive. You gotta be something. And Xxxtentacion was anything but boring. Whether you look at his backstory and, again, character flaws of his domestic abuse allegations, all this shit. He's got like crazy face tattoos. He's got a tree in the middle of his forehead. He's just he's got big blue dreads. Very fucking interesting character. And everything he says it with this conviction. Like, he wasn't boring in any sense. Like, while he talked to you, he was like fully captivated. He was fully in there. He's like screaming all the time. This guy, again, as you look into his backstory and you hear about what, like, some of the stuff he's done, or like he's at a concert like hitting fans, or he's getting knocked out at concerts, like everything about this guy, like, there's nothing boring about him. And there's a prolific index in this Expert Secrets book in terms of like an index. Like, there's like mainstream advice, which is just like, hey, like exercise a couple times a week, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like really crazy shit on each side of this prolific index. Say, in terms of exercise, there's a diet that says you need to look at the sun, and then you can absorb your minerals from there, and then you don't have to eat anymore, you'll lose weight. That's like fully on the crazy side. There's crazy on both sides. And then there's the mainstream advice. The sweet spot is right here. It's not fully crazy, but it's a little bit crazy. And a lot of what X did was, like, it was right in that sweet spot of just slightly out there, or extremely out there, depending on like kind of where you stand. But he didn't have mainstream advice. He wasn't fully crazy. Like, some of his shit, like a lot of his shit, was grounded in reality. And the thing about this this prolific index, if you're on this side, the people on this side are gonna fucking hate you. So when you do what you do, you actually want people to dislike you. You want people to have an opinion of you, either for or against you. And again, this is where it comes into that don't be boring, that like his flawed backstory. People, when he died, people on my Instagram were just saying, hey, this is actually a good thing that he's dead. He was a horrible guy. It's like, this guy had that effect on people, and you want to have that effect. If you want to build a real following, you need to also build real enemies. So if you're just going to be in the center and you want people to like you, well, unfortunately, no one's going to be that passionate about you. You know, like, in order for you to have people that are very, very passionate about what you do, what you stand for, what your ideas are, you also need to have other people on the other side of this that are just going to hate you. They're going to hate you so much. If you look at X, so many people just fucking hated the kid, and so many people love the kid. But Donald Trump, same thing. Like, you have an opinion of Donald Trump. Whether you like him, whether you hate him, doesn't matter. You have an opinion on him. Same with Kanye West. You have an opinion on Kanye West. Whether you like him, whether you don't like him, it doesn't matter. You could think he's a fucking idiot, but the fact is, like, he gets a reaction out of you. And if you want to build a big cult following, you need to be able to get that reaction out of people, either for or against you. And if you find you have a lot of haters and stuff like that, you could potentially be on the right path. So your true fans are gonna really care about you, and they're gonna be passionate about you, and there's gonna be people who are against you. But it doesn't matter, because like you're gonna have these true fan base, and they're gonna be so diehard and passionate for you, and then the other people are gonna be so diehard and passionate against you, and this creates a tribalistic effect where these guys are going to feed off each other, and then like you are just sort of the center. The brand is building around you, and you have a common enemy here in the people who don't like you. So like your followers are going to get more invested in you the more they hear people talking shit. So keep that in mind. You want to be a little bit crazy, not too crazy, but you want to be a little bit crazy. One other aspect I want to touch on before we go is just care a lot. And this is something that X had in spades in terms of what he did for his fans. Like he would stop, he would sign autographs, he would go to schools and give away Xboxes and shit. But in terms of like these little Instagram live videos that he would do, he would just go on there and be like, look, I care about you. Like if anyone wants to talk, like I'm here, like you can do anything you want. Like this guy, the shit that came out of his mouth, even though a lot of it was aggressive, a lot of it was whatever, you could tell this man really cared about his fans. He knew what they were going through because he has gone through it himself. So he went through deep depression. He went through a lot of anger at the world, like why is the world like this? And his fans were going through the same thing. And with this understanding about his fan base, about how he's trying to change the lives of so many kids just for the better,
in order to evolve into not only a teacher, but just someone to motivate the youth and to push the youth.
He fucking actually saved some lives. Like he saved quite a few kids, and he really helped out in the sense that he fucking cared about what they were going through. He understood their struggles, and he wanted to help, and he did what he could to help. And what do you think? Whatever he did in the past is unforgivable or not, or whether you agree with what his message was before, or whether you like his music, doesn't matter. What is undeniable is this guy really cared about his fans, and he really cared about the people who followed him, who liked his music, who sort of like got a lot out of his message, and he truly cared, and he truly tried to help those people out. And that is I think that is really the polarity thing is good. The polarity thing is really amazing. It's one of the most important things. But I think the fact that he just cared so much about his following, about his fans, I think that really sort of sealed the deal for him, and really helped him build that cult following. People who would just do anything for him, who would buy anything he put out. And this is sort of the main thing that draws you to this guy. It's just like his passion, his caring, his polarity, and the fact that he cared so much about the feelings of his fans and sort of the positivity that he was going to be spreading to those people who were paying attention to him. He understood the responsibility it took because he was helping lead these people to I guess a better direction. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on this, like just as a video about Xxxtentacion. I think he's a very interesting character, and I really like paying attention to doing like sort of these case studies on branding and things like that. This is sort of something that I care about, so I wanted to make this video. I wanted to just touch on that. Let me know in the comments, like, what do you think it is that was so enticing about this guy to his fans? Or if you hate him, I'd like to hear about that too. Like, what is it about this guy that you really hate? Obviously, the domestic abuse, no one's gonna like that. But what do you think is that people like Kanye, people like Donald Trump, people like Xxxtentacion, that sort of helps them build a very loyal following and very loyal brand around just their name? What is it? Hit me up in the comments. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.